Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide and another edition of Q&A. I got my phone, I got the questions here, so let's start with them. Regarding Boox Poke 5, I want a device that don't emit light in dark room. Any LED light is destructive, even the smallest. So you want a device, a non-front lit device, so basically you do know that you can just turn off the front light on any of these devices and then they don't emit any LED lights of any kind. I mean, if you don't know, then yes, these devices definitely have that ability, so you can turn the light off if you choose to do so. Is the Supernote the only e-ink device that has links, headers and keywords features for organizational tools? No, it's not, but it's the only one that has all of them with all of the functionalities that it offers. So what do I mean? Well, Boox, for example, is the closest one that you can get to functionality-wise to the Supernote, because it does have links, and the links can point to other pages within the same notebook, other document, other file, etc. So that functionality on paper at least is the same, but in reality not really. And it does have the ability to add a page to the outline of a document or a notebook, and that is somewhat close to the functionality that you can use the headings on in the Supernote. So with the OS 4, and if you have a notebook, yes, you do have links. Yes, you do have tags as well, so you can use tag management. And you do have the ability to add as an outline now, which is a new thing, which effectively is basically building the bookmarks of your notebook as well. So functionally, yes, you do have these abilities. However, the way they work and the way they are implemented, the user experience or the UX is far, far superior on a Supernote when compared to the Boox, because, for example, the case of links, when you add a link to anything in a Boox notebook, it just adds it in a really ugly way, and the interaction with that link is really not intuitive, and it's just a mess basically. So technically yes, you can add a link, and technically yes, if you tap enough and you get enough to the correct icon, you will get to that page, but the user experience of it is horrible when compared to the ease of use and the fluidity of use as it is currently now on the Supernote. So there, Supernote trumps Boox hands down. Tags, more or less the same type of functionality. Headings, yes, now on the Boox you can add a page to the bookmarks, and it's fairly easy to do so. However, you don't have any indication of which page is basically added to the bookmarks, while on the Supernote you do have the headings, which automatically not only are added and are forming the bookmarks or the table of contents of your notebook, but they're also an indication of which sections are your chapters and which are the chapters where that have been added to the table of contents of the document itself. And also the way that it's implemented, it's all at your fingertips, and you can use it all while just working, not having to go through the toolbar looking for a specific icon, then going into an icon, then doing a specific set of operations, etc., etc. So again, the end result of functionality, can you do this with the Boox OS 4? Yes, you can, but the user experience is vastly different between the two, and there is a very, very big gap between user experience on the Boox and user experience on the Supernote, obviously in favor of the Supernote. Well, can you use MDO as a template in the Notes application now? That would bring features close to what you can do with the Supernote, I would imagine. Thanks. Yes, you can now with the OS 4. You can import and use a hyperlinked PDF file as a template for the notebook, and the hyperlinks are going to be preserved. And yes, then you can use the linking features, you can use the add to outline feature, and you can also use anything else that you have at your disposal in notebooks on a Boox platform, you can use in the MDO or MMP, which makes it really, really powerful. However, there are questions and considerations of the UX usability on Boox platform, which still has issues. For example, how links are displayed, made, and interacted with. Then there's also the very strange behavior in the last update with Boox, where the stroke size is not screen relative, but it seems to be document size relative, and then stroke sizes will depend on how big or small your document screen size is. And not only that, but it's also rendering of the icons as well, so that's a mess as well. So that's a negative point. But the positive point is that in Boox, notebooks, any kind of notebooks, you have the ability to turn on background content recognition, OCR recognition, which means that if you do use that, that you can basically any of your handwritten inputs in MDO, if you imported it that way into a notebook, can then be detected and converted to text. Granted, on a Supernote you can do that as well, because if you use the real-time recognition notebook and you import the PDF as a template into that kind of notebook, then you have the same type of functionality. But yeah, these are all new things that you can do on the Boox platform, and it's getting there, but as usual, the user experience is subpar. Magnetic forces. I want to hear this in every video. Yeah, okay, that sounds like a challenge. So, I am tempted to say challenge accepted? Do you think we'll ever get a 10-inch color e-ink device without a high refresh controller that wastes battery, or was there one and I just missed it? I think that Big Me does have a color e-ink device that's 10.3 inch, and they do not use high-speed refresh controller GPUs or whatever it may be, but they do force their SoC to work really, really hard. Why is this type of compensation needed in the first place? Because the Kaleido 3 panels are really bad with ghosting. So if you leave a Kaleido 3 panel to its own devices and what it's capable of, the experience is going to be absolutely horrendous. So the producers have to use some kind of solution to battle the ghosting. And speed is not so important. Yes, it's great that you can get a lot more speed, but the ghosting is the biggest problem and the biggest obstacle that these manufacturers are actually battling with, because Kaleido 3 panels apparently are haunted. Hi William, tonight I extracted a PDF from Excel and I loaded it into Remarkable Paper Pro. In the PDF, most cells are yellow and blue. I realized these colors are not visible in Remarkable Paper Pro. I can see the cells like they are empty, only Remarkable Paper Pro, while the RM app into my smartphone will see everything directly. Is this normal? Yes, unfortunately it is, but that is the problematic behavior that I was mentioning several times that I hope that they can fix, and I think that they are trying to fix it in the update 3.16 that's coming up now. And the problem there is basically how rigid the Remarkable's OS system is, that it doesn't allow you to set the threshold for the lightness and light and dark colors where it's going to be. So how does that work? So for example, if you set the light color threshold to be too low, what it will say to the device is that, hey, any pixel that has brightness of this amount, combined brightness equals this amount, render it as pure white. And the same thing with the blackness. If you raise it too high, then it's going to say, hey, any value, any pixel that has a combined luminance value of something, whatever they've set, render it as pure black. And then it interpolates between the two, right? So it's a way to kind of squeeze the image, compress it, and then you pump out more contrast. okay? However, the problem with that is that if your lightness is set to be too aggressive and too low, to kind of pop it and be more bright, it's going to interpret light grays, light blues, light any colors as, hey, this is a light color and I'm going to interpret this as pure white. Therefore, what you end up seeing on the device, even though the color is there, the color is in your PDF, but the device is calibrated in such a way that it says, yeah, I don't care about that, I'm going to show you white instead. And then you actually see the same thing. If you do the other way around, if you actually use an Excel sheet with all of the colors, and then you see when it's going to start turning the darker colors into pure black, well, dark indigo in the case of Remarkable Paper Pro, but you know what I mean, the interpretation of the black. So normally you do have that control over that aspect on other devices. So for example, on Boox you have really good control on that. In Supernote you have contrast control, which again does exactly that. So because if you want to increase the contrast, what you're actually doing is you're raising the black threshold and lowering the white threshold to squeeze that image and pop those colors into a more aggressive contrast setting. But on the Remarkable, we have zero control over how do we want our content to actually look like on our device. And that's the source of the problem. Thanks a lot for such a fantastic review. Thank you. Would you recommend it transitioning from a Supernote A5X? Thanks for your time. This, if I remember correctly, was in relation with the Remarkable Paper Pro. But either way, whichever device it is, if you are currently a Supernote A5X user, I think that it's definitely worth it to wait. As frustrating as it might be, Supernote A5X2 is just around the corner. It's going to happen, it's there. So I think that it's prudent to wait for it so that you can have a more complete set of information to choose from and not have this kind of thing like you choose one and then you transition, then Supernote A5X2 comes out and it's all that you wanted, but now you've made an investment and done all of these things. None of these devices are gonna run away or anything like that, so patience, I think, is the key here. What do you think about the hack to increase the front light level twice? Also, people mention this device has encryption, but do you think it's good for it or not? I've heard that they're using isn't good. I don't know about enough encryption to base a good, bad, or meh opinion, so would appreciate your thoughts on the matter. This is in regards to the Remarkable Paper Pro. So two questions. First one, the hack on increasing the intensity of the front light. My opinion on that is that you should not do it because it's a bad idea. First of all, you are voiding your warranty like 100% because not only are you modifying system files, but you're also running the hardware aspect of the device to unspecified levels, right? And regardless of whether or not this device can handle it or not, there is a reason why they've done it the way they've done it, and these are the specifications that they have set. Those are the boundaries that they have. And what you're effectively doing is expanding those boundaries. Now, neither you nor I know what kind of effect will having the front light running at twice the intensity have on the rest of the device, mainly on the battery life and the battery capacity over time. And what about overheating? Because when you are depleting the battery in a higher intensity, in a higher regime, and you're running the battery in a higher regime mode, naturally it's going to heat up more. And we've seen that the SoC on the Remarkable Paper Pro is also prone to overheat when it actually speeds up, and it does certain operations when it needs to turbo up to its full capacity. So then you're potentially forcing the device to actually work at higher temperature regimes and modes than it may have been tested or classified for. So therefore, absolutely 1000% no on that hack. As for the encryption, I will actually ask them directly. Okay, so those are the questions for this edition of Q&A. I hope that you found them informative and or useful. And as usual, please do post your questions for future Q&As and as comments on this video, because that makes it much easier for me to find them. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!